There's a shift, deep and visible, when you finally get tired of explaining your worth to people who never cared to understand it. You've spent years trying to be enough for others, breaking yourself to fit into rooms that were never meant for your fire. But one day you wake up and realize you don't need their validation. You never did. That's the day everything changes. You don't chase anymore, you attract. You don't ask to be respected. You demand it with your silence, your discipline, your energy. See, power doesn't scream. It doesn't argue. It moves quietly. It's the calm in your eyes, the stillness in your posture, the way you no longer react to small things. That silence? It's terrifying, because it means you've taken your power back. You don't owe explanations anymore. You don't owe anyone your peace. The man who begged for attention is gone. The man who commands it has arrived. So stop trying to prove your fire to people still sleeping in the ashes. Respect yourself once, truly, and the world will feel it. Because when you decide you're done being small, the universe rearranges to match your strength. That's the moment they start treating you differently. You used to chase people. You used to overgive, overexplain, overcare. You thought kindness meant breaking yourself so others could stay whole. But now, you've learned the truth. When you stop chasing, you stop bleeding energy. And when your energy stops bleeding, your presence becomes power. People can sense when you've stopped needing them. It unsettles them. They start wondering what changed, what woke you up. They feel the distance, and it scares them. Because they were used to your weakness. Now they're facing your strength. You see, when you walk like a king, you don't have to tell anyone you're one. It's in your eyes. It's in your calm. It's in the way you don't flinch when people test you. Your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. And that silence, that's your weapon. The moment you pull your energy back, you gain control. The moment you stop overgiving, you gain power. The moment you stop trying to be liked, you start being respected. So let them feel the weight of losing your access. Let them realize what they took for granted. Because when your energy shifts from desperation to direction, the world has no choice but to treat you differently. For too long, you've let anyone walk through your life. You let energy vampires feed off your light. You let disrespect slide because you were afraid to lose people. But here's the truth. When you fear losing others, you lose yourself. Boundaries are not about keeping people out. They're about keeping your peace in. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you allow disrespect, you're writing a script that says, it's okay to walk over me. But when you draw a line with calm, not anger, you rewrite that script. You don't get to cross this anymore. This isn't weakness. This is strength. Because peace is power. And once a man learns to guard his peace, he becomes untouchable. You don't need to fight for respect. You don't need to explain your boundaries. You simply enforce them with silence, consistency, and self-respect. People may leave when you start saying no. Let them. They're not leaving you. They're leaving the version of you who had no limits. And that version needed to die, so raise the gate. Guard your heart. Protect your mind. Because the moment you do, the world will realize you're not someone to play with anymore. Change the way you walk into a room. Change the tone of your voice. Change the way you look at yourself in the mirror. You can't demand respect when you don't respect your own reflection. You can't command power if you're still apologizing for having it. The man who used to beg dies today. The man who hesitated disappears today. From now on, you move like someone who knows what he's worth. Growth is lonely. Transformation is painful. You'll lose people. You'll outgrow circles. You'll spend nights in silence wondering if it's worth it. It is. Because the quiet seasons build kings. The isolation sharpens the blade. The man who walks alone learns to trust his own footsteps. And when you rise again, calmer, sharper, stronger, they won't recognize you. They'll whisper, you've changed. And you'll smile because that's the point. The old you begged for attention. The new you commands respect and power doesn't ask permission, and it simply is. So transform. Become the storm they never saw coming. And watch how differently the world treats you when you finally become who you were meant to be. Stop chasing approval. Stop explaining your worth. Stop lowering your fire to fit in rooms built for candles. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. And when you finally accept that, when you own your power without apology, people can't help but treat you differently. They'll sense it. In your silence, in your walk, in the way you look through them instead of seeking their validation. You won't need to prove anything anymore. Because confidence doesn't shout and it radiates. Respect doesn't beg, it commands. And when you stand in that truth and unshaken, unmoved, people adjust their tone. Their energy changes. Because they're no longer dealing with the same version of you. The lion never explains why he roars. The storm never asks for permission to reign. And the man who's awakened to his power, he doesn't chase. He simply moves, so rise. Take your crown. Walk into every room like you belong, because you do. Do this once. And watch people treat you differently, because the day you stop needing approval is the day you start commanding respect.